I'm not ready. Okay, fine. I'll just read it off of here. Ready? Tim, are you ready? Ready. Tadashi, are you ready? Rainer, are you ready? Okay, thumbs up. All right, hello everyone. I am Justin Pate. I am the owner of the Rap Institute, one of the owners. Rainer is also the co-owner. First off, I hope you're all doing well. I'm super excited about this demo. This is actually wrapping one of my favorite objects to wrap, which is a van with deep recessed areas. Thank you, sir. So, because you got to form the film into the recessed area and hopefully for 3 or 4 years without popping out. So it's also a very popular object to wrap, and if you get the formula right, you can make a lot of money, which is really cool. The secret of wrapping recessed areas is to clean, have good technique, but also use the right material. So in this demo right now, we're going to be using Fedrigoni film, and Fedrigoni is a great company based in Italy, and they actually make a lot of amazing bags for like Chanel, all those high brands and stuff like that, and they've recently got into the wrap market. So they're taking all the expertise they have in their leader of luxury paper items is putting that into the vinyl industry, which is what we're in, which is really cool. So this is a film that we actually made the product and promo video for. This is Fedrigoni's recast C50, and then the lamination on top is the C30. So this is a very easy material to install because it has a very low initial tack. It reacts very well to heat, which is very good for recessed areas. And the adhesive really goes flat, so it holds those recessed areas really well. So this is an excellent film for recessed areas. So you have to choose the right film. That's a big one. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm opening my phone, and I'm opening from my phone to my stopwatch. And why I'm doing that right now is I'm going to time Tadashi and Rainer, see how long it takes them to wrap this side of the van. So what I want all of you in the audience to do is also grab your phone, and I want you to go to the Rap Institute YouTube channel. So if you go to the Rap Institute YouTube channel right now, Kaio is streaming this video live there right now. And why that's important right now is you guys have about 2 or 3 minutes to guess how long it's going to take Rainer and Tadashi to wrap the side of this van. Because if you guess how long it takes them to wrap, you're going to win this prize. And I'm going to read it out. I was going to memorize all these things, and I was like, I'm not going to memorize that stuff. This is too long. So right now, the prize up for grabs, if you guess how long it takes them to wrap this van, is 1 kit of Rayjet C30 with a white lamination, C30, a bottle of Triple S, wrap axes, weldy heat gun, and a mag strap, which is pretty cool. You get 3 packs of banana buffers, you get a platinum membership to the Rap Institute, a pack of monkey strips, a 25 gift certificate to Yellow Tools, which is cool. So the prize value of this is $1,530, and all you have to do is go to YouTube and click a comment. But here's the deal, just so you guys get an educated guess right now. Right now, Rainer and Tadashi are going to be wrapping the side of the car, They're not going to be wrapping the bottom section. Do you see that bottom white right there? So they're not going to be wrapping that. So that saves, what, 10, 15 minutes, so keep that in mind. So when you're guessing right now, they're just going to be wrapping this. You're guessing install time only. They've already done the prep. What they've done is they've cleaned it really good. They've got the magnets in place. They actually pre-seamed it. Do you guys see how they pre-seamed it? So now it's pre-seamed. These are 2 horizontal panels, so it's ready to rock and roll. They got their heat gun set up. They got the folding platforms in place. So do you guys understand the prep? So do you guys understand? So now put your guesses in right now, because I want to start the clock very soon. I don't know how long it's going to take. Tadashi, do you have an idea? Oh, Tadashi knows, but he's not going to say. They're doing the doors. So yeah, just so you guys know, they're doing this whole thing. They're doing the door with a vertical panel, and then they're going to do the front fender right there. So they're wrapping the entire driver's side. So as they wrap, I'm going to walk through the process and talk to them about what they're doing and how they're doing it right now. We have representatives from Fedrigoni here, which is great. We got Matt here, who's a trainer for them. So we're going to be talking about their training program. So right now, again, go to the Wrap Institute YouTube channel, and you have about 20 more seconds to guess. If you're watching online right now, which I hope, well, thanks for watching online, you have about 20 seconds to guess as well. So put your guess in the comment. Again, they're not wrapping the bottom. They've already got the top prepped. Rainer is wearing his lederhosen. That means that he's ready to rock and roll. Rainer is based in Germany right now, and he's Bavarian, and he's very proud, and I think it's very cool that he's proud of that. So, lederhosen, check. Tadashi, check. Tadashi's got his, look at Tadashi's gangster tool bag right there, too.
Gold.
Gold. And I got the gold shoes, so we're ready to rock and roll. So again, appreciate all you watching right now. If you have questions, ask questions. I'm ready to answer your questions. Let's start it up. Again, prize package, $1,500. Last chance to get your guess in. And we're going to start the clock in 3, 2, and go. Let's do it. All right. So we got Chad Adams here. Chad Adams has a great wrap shop in Las Vegas. One of my favorite peeps in the wrap industry. Great shop owner and also a great papa. So anyway, so that being said, Chad is helping out. So Chad is kind of like a setup guy. So one thing that's been important if you want to scale your wrap shop right now is to be a prepper. So you want to hire a prepper right now to get everything ready. So what Chad did this morning right now is he had a list, and this is the list that I made a couple weeks ago. And I said, Chad, for the demo for the recess area, what I'd like you to do is get these tools in order. And then he got the tools in order. And then what he did is he got the folding platforms in order. And then what he did is he got the heat gun set up, and he got everything set up. So right now, what Rainer and Tadashi are doing right now are releasing the backing paper. So notice that Rainer put his magnet there to kind of hold it in place. And they're just pulling the backing paper enough past the point now, where now Tadashi, without even thinking about it, takes his backing paper cutter, and Rainer and Tadashi are going to meet in the middle, and they might kiss. I'm just joking, okay? So my point is right now, they come in the middle, backing paper goes on top, so there's no way Chad's going to get that. And now they're going to actually I'm going to take it off the backside so they don't get screwed. So right now what they're doing is they started with the hinge, and notice the magnets they're using right now. These are my favorite magnets, and they get everything set, and Reiner's going to get his magnet set, kind of hold it in place. And why they're holding it in place right now is they don't want the material to kind of shift. So Reiner's going to kind of lock it in the middle. Tadashi's got it there. We're going to take the magnets off right now. And normally most people use magnets that are about this big, right? And for me, if you're using magnets that are this big, why I don't like that is you're going to have to use a lot to hold a panel this big. And number two is if you put those magnets on top of the wrap film, they leave an impression. So when the Wrap Institute had an opportunity to create our own tool line right now, we created a tool line with these magnets. These magnets are super, super, super strong. They're conformable, but they also don't leave impressions. So again, they're going full cowboy right now. Earlier in the demo right now, Crystal showed how to go cowgirl by taking the backing paper off for the tool cabinet right now. But what Rainer and Tadashi are going to do is they're going to pull with what's called the triangle technique. So they pull the material to the side. Tadashi's kind of balancing his film, and what they're going for is a term that in the industry is called glass. And this is actually a term, when I had my first DVD back in 2007, because I'm old, I came up with a phrase called wrinkles mean no, glass means go. And what glass means is that it means there's no wrinkles on the film. So if you pull the film with what's called the triangle technique, you can spread the tension out in the film, and if you spread the tension out in the film, you can create glass. And glass means if there's no wrinkles on the film, it means the material can wrap and roll. Oh, Rainer was going for the toss. We should actually make that part of like a contest, like almost like a, anyway. So right now Tadashi's pulling it. Look how Tadashi's pulling the film. He's glassing the material out and pulling towards the back. And once he's set here right now, okay, let's talk about the film. So right now, as they're picking the material up, what do you guys hear? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear a lot of, you know, and so that means is they're working with what's called a low-tack film. And so when Fedrigoni came out with this film, and again, they came out with this first film, I think it was in 2022, if I'm correct right now. So what they did is they worked with a lot of, you know, technology at the time, and what was really nice about Fedrigoni's film is they made it really low-tack. They use the latest and greatest technology right now, and that allows installers like Tadashi and Rainer to really glass out the film without a lot of stress, especially when they're working with a giant sheet like this. So now that they have everything set up, I heard Tadashi, even just like Rainer, he says, okay, and then that means, okay, let's rock and roll. So what Rainer's doing right now is he's spraying his buffer with what's called Triple S. Triple S is a product that we developed with a company called P&S. And P&S is based in California right now. And with P&S right now, this product is a really cool product that it goes under the vinyl on the surface to lower the surface energy. It can go on your buffer to make the buffer slide and glide. And then also it goes on top as aftercare, right? So it's a really, really cool product. So if you want to kind of work with that product, definitely check out the Demo Depot. And so what Rainer and Tadashi are doing right now is, again, working as a team. So they set up a hinge with the magnets. They took the backing paper off. They got it in position right now, and then they created glass. Once they created glass, notice what they did. They first squeegeed at the top on that first ridge right there. The reason why you always on a van want to squeegee at the top and then work towards the bottom is gravity. If they squeegee it in the middle right now, and if there happens to be tension that's off, it makes the install harder. So you always want to set your hinge from side to side, and then you create your glass and work down. So notice what Tadashi's doing right now is he's framing the outside. So this van has a recessed area. So has anyone here in the audience, and again, we got a great crowd watching right now, who here has wrapped a recessed area? Anyone? Okay. And I got some great people over here who have great tools for wrapping recessed area, which is wrap gloves. Okay, we got Troy Downey over here, great guy. So Troy and his son have a great company, and they make gloves. For putting recessed area, you definitely want a glove, right? Back in the day, again, 1996, I started wrapping. I used Justin juice. I licked my finger and put it in. I had no choice. That's a lot of Justin juice to wrap this recessed area. Technology has improved for everything, right? Material, but also tools. So what Tadashi and Rainer are going to be using right now in a little bit is they're going to be using gloves to form the film into the recessed area. So coming back to recessed area, for those of you who have wrapped recessed areas, what issues do you guys have? What did you say? Failure? Okay, why? What we mean the material pops out over time, right? Right, very good.
You have like an adhesive material and it tacks where your samples.
Yeah. So one thing is failure. So over time, the material will pop out. Anyone could be a good wrapper for a day, right? Anyone could just jam the material on the car and you're like, awesome. But the art of wrapping is having it look good for 2 or 3 years, right? So now, what's challenging about recessed areas is the stress it puts on the vinyl. So one is making sure you clean really good. Number 2 is making sure you use good techniques. So if you notice what Rainer's doing right now, and again, this is very big, and again, I know in the audience right now it's kind of hard to see the close-up. I highly recommend those of you watching in the audience right now, go to the Rapid Suit YouTube channel, and you can actually watch what Kaio's seen. So again, your chance to see up close. But my point is right now, what Rainer's doing is he's heating the film, but he's not heating the film right where the recessed area is. Did you guys notice that? So right now, and I'll come over here while Rainer does this, is what I used to do, what I was taught back in the day was to heat the material right there and then form the material in. And again, I didn't know what I didn't know. But the problem is if you heat the material here, that's where you're going to get the most stretch. And if you get the most stretch in the deepest part of the recessed area, that's where you get the what? Most tension. And then tension, okay, who here likes tension? Right? No one likes tension, especially the material. So the art of wrapping is knowing how to not have tension. And how do you do it? So when Rainer heats the material now, he's heating here. So he's heating about 4 inches away from the recessed area. So what that means is the material that's 4 inches from the recessed area gets hot. So when Rainer forms it in, the material where the recessed area is at room temperature. Where does the stretch come from? The flat area, super smart, right? So that's one. So the one is technique, and Reiner's got his glove on. And what I want you guys to appreciate right now is the heat gun. So for me, I was always a torch guy. You know, from 1996 to 2007, I used torches. Torches in recessed areas don't like each other very much, all right? So that's one thing. When I moved to Europe, and I'm American, but in 2007, I met my wife in 2005, and then she became pregnant with our beautiful daughter, and she wanted to move home. And my wife is the boss, so that's what I did, right? So when I moved to Europe, it was the first time in my life I used a heat gun for wrapping, and I fell in love. Heat guns and wrapping are great. But again, technology. First heat guns I used were from Steinel, or the cheap ones. Who here has bought a cheap heat gun, right? Who here has had a cheap heat gun break, right? It's normal, right? So about 3 years ago, a company called Weldy, and they have their booth across the way, said, hey, we got a great new heat gun, what do you guys think? And my partner Rainer, who's really, really smart about tools and stuff like that, he asked for a couple modifications, which was a protective thing on the heat, on the front, it vents at the back, it weighs about 1.5 pounds, and super light. So, because the thing is, when you're doing a van with a material like this right now, you want to make sure your heat gun's on all the time, and you're going to be holding all the time, and if it's super heavy, no go. But what the biggest thing is about Weldy, all those things are really nice, is the heat source. The heat source puts out a very nice, wide, soft heat. And what that means is you can heat up an area and be super safe. So now we got triple S going on here, and we're good to go. So do you guys understand the flow going right now? Are they working like chaos, or does it look like it's controlled chaos, right? Controlled chaos, that's the dream. So my point is right now, let's get back to the material. Again, this is Fedrigoni. So one of the questions when I said, what's the issues you guys have with recessed areas? One was tension, lifting, right? Number two was material. So one thing we try to teach on the Wrap Institute, and what we do with our platform, is we try to teach people about wrapping, but also what is involved in wrapping. The demos throughout the day, the next demo is going to be on the sedan. We're going to be doing color change film. This is commercial, it's a different jam. So the main point is right now, is with this type of material right now, especially on a van with recessed areas, you have to choose the right print film. I remember back in the day when I wrapped in New York City right now, every manufacturer or every company who would hire me for a job would just send me random material. Until I started saying, I want this material, which was easy to work with. So I chose a better price point for install. So this particular material from Fedrigoni right now, I mean, these guys are working pretty quick. Let's check out the time right now. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Right now we're at 10 minutes. How are they doing? Pretty good, right? You know what I'm saying? They're cooking. So my point is, though, this comes from, as much as I say Reiner's great installer, and Tadashi's a great installer, half the battle is what? Material, right now. They have a material right now that is extremely conformable and is easy to kind of move around. So it's conformable and it's highly repositionable. Pretty dope. So what you have to think about right now is Reiner's slowing and going and flowing right now, but this is actually something I want to point out. So if you guys notice what Rainer did right now, and if Kyle can point it out, Rainer did this, right? So Rainer took what's called a wrap axe, and you can take a straw or you can take anything like right now. And what he did is, I think he put masking, did you put masking tape on it? Rainer, did you put masking tape on it? No, but he should have, okay? But anyway, you can put masking tape on it, but the main idea right now, okay, is Tadashi and Rainer are working on what's called an enclosed recessed area, right? There's two types of recessed area. So what we're doing down here, if you notice that what Tadashi and Rainer did here is they have this recessed area here, and they bridge the material over here, and they're going to use their glove, and they're going to form the film into the recessed area. Totally cool. Or sometimes you can pick it up and take it down. So the outlet for the air is going to come out by the front door. In this case, the outlet for the air is going to come out somewhere, I hope. So in this case, right now, they're going to figure it out. Tadashi's using his scissors, which is pretty cool trick. But the main point is, right now, this recessed area is enclosed. So right now, Rainer has to let the air escape, and he has to create a manual area for the air to escape. So what Rainer did right now is he created a channel, and he's going to have the air escape through this section here. So he's working the material here, and then he's going to have the air come out there. So while Reiner's working there, what is Tadashi doing? Take a look at what Tadashi's doing. Tadashi's doing a great technique called tuck and cut. So what Tadashi's doing, he's picking the material up, tucking it into the gap as tight as he can. So here's a kind of $1 million question for this install. What is their goal for the install? Is it to change the color of the car or to create a moving billboard? Moving billboard. So a lot of customers right now don't expect full coverage. So that's one. So when Tadashi is going to cut, he's going to take the material as deep as he can. He's going to cut the material nice and uniform, I hope. That's the dream, right? So if he cuts it nice and straight, based on the fact that they're wrapping with the hardware on, is there a chance that you see a white gap in that section? 100%. Is that okay? 100%. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, they could have taken these side panels off. Has anyone ever taken side panels off a van? Has anyone ever broken side panels off a van? You know what I'm saying? It happens. So one thing we try to teach on the Wrap Institute is knowing when to take hardware off and knowing when to leave it on. Oftentimes for commercial right now, we'll take off what we need to, which is what? Door handle, mirror. That's it. I don't risk taking off the side panel because there's a chance of breaking it. If you break it, it's very sad, right? So you don't want to break hardware. So the art is right now, knowing that you don't have to get full coverage. But let's switch this off. If this was a color change install, would you take those side panels off? 100%, because the car is what? White. Do you guys understand? And the biggest thing is, okay, if you do see white in the gap right now, it is commercial, but why is this working? Right? What's up, my man? Cool. Why is this working is because they put what color in the print? White. And if they put white in the print, and there's white showing on the edges, does that look nice and professional? 100%. If this car was green, what color would Never Stop Learning be? Green or something, you know? As long as you put the color in the of the car in the print somewhere, then you could cut stuff nice and clean. So you see Rainer now working the material into the recessed area. We're good to go. Tadashi is working the material back to here. And they're only going to work, Tadashi, just so for today, you can just cut it right to the edge here. You don't have to wrap around. So you can put knifeless tape wherever you want to do it. So Tadashi's not going to wrap around the back. He's just going to cut it clean. And on the top, they're just going to go past visual. So what I want you to appreciate what Rainer did right there. Okay, I don't know if you can see it on camera. But when Rainer was here right now, he tucked the material in. So as you tuck the material into the recessed area and come out, the material naturally bunches up. So everything we do at the Wrap Institute is about tension. So what Rainer did right there is he took the material in, fed it in, had wrinkles, and then there's a technique we call at the Wrap Institute called the shimmy. So if you saw what Rainer did right there is he took the material, there's lots of tension in the material, and what he did is he shook it really quick. And what that does is it relaxed the material, kind of like a massage chair, right? And then once the material is relaxed, he added heat, which relaxed it even more. So then once Rainer does that, how much tension does he have on the side? None. How hard did he have to work to create that material to relax? Not very hard, especially when he's working with Fedrigoni. So again, we have the representatives from Fedrigoni here, great company. They're distributed in America by a company called DAF, D-A-F, and their booth is right over there. So if you want more information about their material, definitely check them out. A lot of people at SEMA last year were like, dude, Fedrigoni's everywhere, right? Fedrigoni's a big company, and you're gonna hear more and more about Fedrigoni. Tomorrow we're gonna be wrapping the cab of that box truck with PPF. Reiner's gonna be doing that, and then Friday I'll be wrapping with their color change film. It's a very exciting company doing really exciting things. And right now you can see that the recessed area is done, and everything's going and flowing right now. So for those of you watching right now, okay, how did that look? Pretty easy, straightforward, all right? Great techniques, great tools, and they're flowing and going. And they have a good system. One thing you have to appreciate, one thing I like about the Wrap Institute and my career in general is I've done shows like SEMA over the years, and I got the opportunity to wrap cars with Jim Miller or John Duver or Chad Parrish. And when you're working with great installers, you don't have to do what? How much are they talking right now? Not much. Okay, how come they're not talking that much? Because they're working with a system, right? So they're working with a good system. And what that means right now is they're on the same page. When they created the hinge right now, they just automatically started creating glass. And once they started creating glass, I could tell that Tadashi knew that Rainer had it here, so Tadashi started framing it and working it here. So if you have a system, and that's what we teach at the Wrap Institute, that means you can really up your game and create that magic, which is pretty cool. So you can see what Tadashi's doing right now is finishing the material here. They got the top to going right now. So what I'm suspecting right now, what Reiner's gonna do, is that Tadashi could probably handle that, right? So what Reiner's probably gonna do is probably drop the vertical panel. But again, I'm not his boss. I'm not telling him what to do. I'm just kind of guessing because Reiner's flowing and going, right? Can you guys appreciate how much heat they have right now? What is on the whole time? Heat. But what are they really using heat to do? to stretch the film or to relax the film. That's the art of wrapping. Right in here, Rainer was taking the material now, and what he was doing was adding heat, but the heat was leading the squeegee, not behind. So if the heat was leading the squeegee, with this particular film for recast from Fedrigoni, we found that there's a technique that we have at the Wrap Institute called zero stretch. So that means that we take the tension from the manufacturing process and use that to make the wrapping process easier. So when Rainer made his cut here on the side, what he did is added slow heat. And what that made the material do is made the material kind of shrink to the side first, and then all he had to do was come back with the squeegee. It's a pretty cool technique. So zero stretch is really powerful, right? So now we got the material down. Rainer's glassing the material here. That's a really good way to move your scaffold or your little folding platform. You just kind of jump up and down. I think the leader hose would help with that for sure. Cool? So again, I've known Rainer. He's been my partner for the Wrap Institute since 2020 officially. But again, it's interesting with Rainer as a partner. With the Wrap Institute, we used to have a program. We have an online streaming video platform, if you don't know the Wrap Institute. And I encourage the members over the years to just send in a video. If you have I can only make so many videos, right? And there's so many people doing cool techniques. I said, if you have a cool technique, send in a video and we'll put your logo in front of the video and we'll give you full credit. I love to do that. So Rainer started sending videos to me in 2018. I didn't know who Rainer was, but I started, his techniques were super clever, really smart. And then he started sending more and more videos. And then when I wanted to expand the Wrap Institute, the first person I called was Rainer. And just so you know, something about Rainer, and Rainer probably owes me a lot of money for just giving him so many props. This tool, you guys know this tool. This is what's called a bodyguard knife. This is Yellow Tools' new version. And Yellow Tools is one of our sponsors for the show. This is their latest and greatest backing paper cutter. So what's cool about this is you can switch directions, you can pull or push, which is cool. But Rainer's big input on the tool was this. Do you guys see this little hook, right? So what's hard about these tools is when you put it in your tool bag right now, it's kind of hard to find. So what Rainer told them to do was put this on here, so that when you put it in your tool bag, it goes like there. So now you can grab it and you could go. Pretty clever monkey. With this squeegee right now, let me come and grab the tools now. Rainer developed this tool. So this is from Yellow Tools as well. We use this for our PPF installs. So why this is a clever PPF squeegee right now is the angle here is 45 degrees. This is what you're going to use most of the time. But sometimes it's nice to have a 60-degree angle, and sometimes it's nice to have a 90-degree angle. So you put 3 different degrees of edges on here now, so it makes it easy to work with. When you're installing with PPF, it's what? It's wet. That means your squeegee is a little slippery, which means it's hard to grip. So what Rainer asked Yellow Tools to do is put a grip on here that makes it easier to hold wet, so you have less fatigue, which is pretty cool. One is medium hard, one is soft. All right, so this is Rainer's jam right now. And then let's come up with some other tools that Rainer came up with right now is, I don't know if I have it here. Let me see what I got. Aha. Have you guys heard of this tool? Okay, so this is called the Wrap UEZ. And later when we wrap a sedan, we'll be using this. This was developed by Yellow Tools and the Wrap Institute, right? The original shape of this was a circle. And when Michael came to the Wrap Institute Center, Rainer took a saw and sawed the end off. And Michael was like, why did you do that? He said, it works better like this. So Rainer's the one who came up with this shape. Pretty clever dude, right? So this is the Wrap UZ, comes from Rainer. And this is one of my favorite tools that we'll be showing later, is this one. Have you guys seen this tool? This is new on the market as of SEMA of this year. So this is what's called the Sensor Cut Pro. So this helps you cut bump. Has anyone here cut a bumper sensor out with a knife? Anyone? Is it fun? It's not very fun at all. So this is a tool we developed in conjunction with Yellow Tools. And what this does is it allows you to cut a bumper sensor in about 5 seconds. It's pretty awesome, all right? So this is, we developed, we got a call from Ford, because we did the Ford Wrap program, and they said, we need a tool, you need a tool to cut out bumper sensors, otherwise the program's on hold. And we got that call on Friday before Easter last year, and by Monday we had this tool. All right, so it's pretty cool to be forced to innovate and grow. But why do I like this now is you can cut out bumper sensors in 90% quicker than with a knife, and you don't use a knife, which means you're not going to cut it. So Tim's going to grab that because Tim doesn't like my pen. We're good. I got that. All right. So we got that tool. My point is right now, Rainer's a great partner because he's a good installer, but he's also a clever monkey, right? So that's part of the Wrap Institute, which is cool. Thank you, Tim. So now we're working and going and flowing. Tadashi cut the material on the backside. He's super focused. He's got his heat gun. And again, notice what he's doing with the heat gun. He's leading with the heat, so he relaxes, and then he seals. Very important. What I used to do, okay, before I went to Japan in 2011, I kind of was an installer who, if I stretched the material at room temperature, I'm like, well, that's cool, I probably didn't stretch it too much. I would cut and then I would add heat. Why do you think that's a bad technique? It's because when I stretched the film, even at room temperature, did I stretch the film? For sure. So when I cut, was there tension in the film? Maybe. So when I heated it, it would maybe shrink. Not good. So when I went to Japan the first time, one of Koji Ito's friends, who I think are amazing installers, and they actually invented, I'm going to bust this out. You guys know the wrap axe. So the wrap axe was developed by two installers in Japan, two of the best installers that I know. They're great. So what they taught me now is that if you stretch the film, no matter what, before you cut, you heat it. Super smart. That's a technique called cold pre-stretch. I came up with the term, they came up with the technique. So by Tadashi, by leading with the heat, what he's doing is he's taking any tension out of the film, then he puts it on the edge. Super smart. It doesn't take any more time, but what it does is it relaxes the film before you touch it on the surface. Again, the art of wrapping is what? Mastering tension, right? The art of life is what? Mastering tension. That's the goal. You know what I'm saying? We all try to sleep on a nice bed. We all try to drive a nice car. We all try to do things that take tension out of our lives. So with the art of wrapping, right, is you might have tension. And if you have tension when you're wrapping, if you have tension on the material, if you have tension on the vehicle, you're going to have issues. And that's what we try to teach at the Wrap Institute is that. So you see Tadashi is flowing and going here, and look what Rainer did. So Rainer put what he's called wrap magnets on. I don't know if I have one back here. So if you see the flow, we talked earlier about the wrap magnets, right? So for years I used those single magnets, those small magnets, but you guys can hear how strong this is. So when I put that there, that locks the panel in position. So right now, Rainer could have put like 6 magnets down, but in this case right now, he put a couple wrap magnets on, and what that does is it allows us to lock the material on, and we're good to go. Super strong. For me, for commercial graphics, that's very important. Has anyone here, when you've done commercial graphics, put a hood down or put something down, and when you pull the backing paper off, it switched a little bit? There's nothing more frustrating than that. Because the number one priority for wrapping is what? Alignment. So for me, the reason why I wanted these big wrap magnets is to get that flow and go, right? So for those of you who are new to the show right now, or just coming into the crowd right now, Tim, these are great pictures to get. So my point is right now, what we have right now is, this is the Never Stop Learning Contest. So this is the Wrap Institute booth in conjunction with ISA. And we have Lori over there from ISA. Hello, Lori. Okay, so we'll come back to that. So my point is, where was I? I was totally forgot where I was.
Never stop learning. Okay, so the Never Stop Learning Contest, for those of you who don't know, we're doing 6 live demos a day. This morning we wrapped the refrigerator, then we wrapped this tool cabinet, then we wrapped the side of this box truck. Now we're wrapping the side of the van, and then later today we're going to be doing the sedan, all right? I'll be showing how to do stripes, wrap the hood and the roof, working around the antenna, then do stripes, and then we'll finish the day with wrapping the side of the car, wrapping the side of the car with color change film, right? So this will be with KPMF, the next one will be with Fellers, and this one is with Fedrigoni, right? So great learning moments, but keep in mind, for those of you who might not know, before every round starts, if you guess how long it takes them to wrap the object, you can win between $1,500 and $2,000 worth of prizes. So make sure you get your guess in on our YouTube channel before, because we want you to win the prizes. We have over $33,000 worth of prizes to give away, which is pretty cool. So right now, again, we have Kyle filming. This is streaming live on our YouTube channel right now. And for those of you who guessed the time right now on the side of the car, we're at 27 minutes and 30 seconds right now. So what they have to finish right now is they're going to finish the door, and then they're going to finish the front fender. So if you have any questions about the wrapping process and how they do stuff, this is a great time to ask those questions. And right now we also have Matt. Matt is the trainer from Fedrigoni, and they do a lot of workshops in North America
Fedrigoni's booth is over there. So if you have questions about their film, and we're going to be showing their PPF film, color change film, and this is their digital print film. So this is the Riecast, right? It's the 50 series, and then the lamination is the 30 series. So this comes from Fedrigoni in Italy, and they're great, great manufacturer. Some of you may have heard of a company years ago called Retrama. So Retrama made a lot of great film, a lot of white label film for the manufacturers. And years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, Fedrigoni bought Retrama. So they're buying a lot of companies. Has anyone got a bag from Louis Vuitton or Chanel, right? I guarantee you who made that bag was Fedrigoni, right? So what's interesting in this industry right now, in the wrap industry right now, is a lot of big companies start making vinyl, right? 3M makes a lot of products, right? And they also make vinyl. Avery Dennison makes labels, they also make vinyl. Fedrigoni makes bags, and now they make vinyl. So why are these companies investing a lot in vinyl? Because vinyl is booming right now. I see a lot of wrap shops. I know we got Jill from Lettering Express over here. How busy are you guys? Super busy, right? I know every wrap shop is super busy right now because wrapping, especially over COVID, I used to fly on planes a lot. I still fly on planes way too much, right? I fly on planes a lot. Back in the day, I used to edit Wrap Institute videos, right? So I'd be in my seat, editing a video, and the person behind me is like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, I'm a rapper. And they're like, you hip hop? And I'm like, no. I don't do hip hop. I put stickers on thinking I had to explain. Well, I still have to explain, but not as much. Now if I say I'm a rapper, they're like, oh yeah, I know about rap. What does that mean? It means now customers know about rap. You know what I'm saying? Years ago, last year, right before July 20th, the Wrap Institute was going to do a program for Ford, and where the Ford Wrap program was going to launch, and they actually just postponed it for hopefully not so much longer. But my main point is, OEMs like Ford are now wrapping cars, right? That tells you that now when you get a car, your car is more and more probably going to be what color? Black. And then you're going to have the option to wrap it, which is pretty cool. Which is, in a way, years ago I talked about wrapping, and then the wrap industry would kind of go back to Ford. What was the original color for Ford? Black. And that was the color for how many years? Like 9. You know, how many people wanted a black car? You had no choice. It was black. You know what I'm saying? So my point is right now, people don't want just one color. How many different print options can you give the customer? 1 million, which is really cool. So now you can have customization, right? So let's come back to where these guys are at. So what Tadashi is doing right now is relaxing the film. He had to create a channel for the air. And sometimes, I don't know if you guys, sometimes when you're wrapping film, you have too much tension, or the material kind of bunches up into a certain section. Is that good or bad? Yes, it is what it is. So for me right now, maybe I'm wrapping long enough right now, I don't think any situation is bad because I know how to fix it. And how do you fix it right now is what's really cool about this material is right now, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to screw Rainer up, but if this window was open right now and I heated the material a lot, I could stick my fist in it. Or if I wanted a lot of likes on Instagram, I'd push my face through it, right? Because you guys have seen that, right? So people push their face through stuff. This material, when you stretch it, it doesn't break, which is pretty cool. But what happens is if you heat it, what does it do? It shrinks back to its original shape and tension. Is that good or bad? It's good if you know about it, right? So right there, you couldn't really see it because you guys, I mean, it's a lot of people and it's great, so thank you for watching. Is Tadashi formed the film in and it kind of got some wrinkles. So what did Tadashi do? He picked the material back up a little bit farther and added slow heat. What happened? The material just flattened out. Pretty cool. So if you know how to work the material and how the properties are, you're good to go. So what Tadashi's doing right now is he's cutting the material at the top. And again, look at the teamwork what we got right now. So we have some of the best wrap installers in the world. I'd say Rainer is the premier PPF specialist in the world. So later tomorrow you're going to see PPF over there. So Rainer travels the world and he goes to all leading companies and he teaches them about PPF. Tadashi travels all over the world and he has a great company in Japan and they're both part of the Wrap Institute. At the Wrap Institute, if you're not on the Wrap Institute, I highly recommend becoming a member. It's super affordable. We have the demo depot over there. And for me, it's just the best online training you're going to get for Wrap because we're a digital platform. And I'm not here to sell a membership, but you can watch stuff on YouTube, but you're going to get mix and match stuff. Here at the Wrap Institute, you're going to get gold because you're going to be able to see videos with these guys all the time. So right now, what Rainer's doing is he's pulling the material away. And what's cool about it right now is if you have good placement right now. Was this lining up pixel to pixel? No. Did it have to? No. How come? Because there's a gap in between. So Rainer's getting it close, but it doesn't have to be super close right now. and we're good to go. You know what my favorite thing about wrappers is right now? Has anyone ever gone to dinner with like knifeless tape or like masking tape on your butt and stuff like that? So what I love about Rainer right now is just got this big tape there. I have no clue why, but it's just, it happens. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we're good to go. Tadashi's doing a thing, but check this out. So once they got the material on and they formed them in, you're like, okay, they're pretty close to done. That's not the story. The story when you're wrapping right now, is glassing it out and getting the material on is step one. Step two, which is oftentimes more time, is what? Finishing. And finishing is the art right now. So if you're finishing the material right now, it's really important to get the right process. So what Tadashi's been doing right now is taking the material in and tucking it in, finishing off and working. So while Tadashi did this now, Reiner's coming in and doing this. So it's got the nice flow. You guys see that right now? So it's nice, good technique. And then right now, Reiner's doing what we call scene and sections. So if you notice Rainer right now, he glassed it over the main section here, took the material out. Then what he did right now is he made a cut to here because there's a molding here. And what he did is he made a cut right where the mirror is. That's called scene and sections. Instead of looking at that as a one panel to put on, he's now creating a gap. And why he's creating a gap right now is he wants the material to reach the front of the A-pillar because it came a little short because they're doing vertical panels. This particular material that we got from this show was 137, or sorry, I'm thinking European. This is a 54-inch panel. So right now, because he had the material 54 inches right now, it didn't reach all the way to the A-pillar. That means if you put the next panel on, what we'd have to do? Have an overlap. And overlaps look okay, but you want your stuff to be as seamless as possible, right? So what Rainer did right now is he's stretching it to meet to that point. So now he picked it up by making that relief cut now. He could pick the material up and then heat it just enough to get coverage without overstretching. Does that make sense? Right? So he's taking advantage of that natural gap. And by making that natural gap right now, he's now going to stretch the material out and relax it. But again, what do you guys hear? Do you guys hear stress? Do you hear the material pick up and tack? No. So this is Fedrigoni's film, and I don't know, Matt, if Matt's still around from Fedrigoni, you still have those samples, right? So make sure you hand those samples out. Fedrigoni has samples that you can grab. If you release the film, feel the adhesive. And the adhesive, you're like, that doesn't tack at all, right? So the adhesive takes time to tack, and that's the beauty of Fedrigoni film and the Riecast right now, is the fact that it doesn't tack right away. That's a good thing, right? You don't want it to tack, but when you add heat, that adhesive really activates and then it sticks. So it's a really good thought out formula right now to finish. And the Reiner's relaxing right now. Tadashi's finishing, and they're getting the material on. And the only thing they have left to do is what? The front fender, which is pretty cool. So they're flowing and going. I don't have a video on the Wrap Institute yet, right? But I'm going to soon. I was teaching a workshop in Atlanta in September. And so basically one of the people in the workshop gave one of my best tips ever for wrapping vans. And I don't know why I'm telling this, but I don't care. So my point is right now, okay, if you do commercial graphics right now, normally when you do commercial graphics, you have to take this down here and then you have to print an extra piece for the bottom, right? That takes what? Time. Time for production, time to laminate, and also time to install. So what this guy does, and I think it's super smart, is he wraps the bottom of the car in satin black. Why is that super smart? It's because you basically black out the bottom of the car, so it's super easy. You don't have to print that. You basically cut strips of satin black that fit there, so it's very easy to install. And then your visual coverage is everything going up. I think that's really clever, right? Super smart. So that's an option. It limits where you put your print, but at the same time, I think it's very effective in terms of scaling a fleet, saving time. But in this case, we're not wrapping the bottom because Tadashi and Rainer are just super lazy. I'm just joking, okay? No, I just think for focus and flow and time, I think it's just good that they wrap the top section here. So again, you can see the focus right now, and what I really want you to appreciate is, for the most part right now, is the workspace is super what? Clean. They're not throwing the backing paper out here, they're trying to keep this as clean as possible. Why do you think that's important? Safety, right? But also the biggest thing is I found, from installing, I don't know about you guys, is that I found if my workspace is dirty, I start losing tools. Has anybody lost tools, right? That's one. Has anyone ever, clients become kind of picky? If you're a client right now and you come in and the workspace is dirty, they jump on you, right? My biggest lesson for that, again, I was a pretty good installer in Europe. I wrapped a lot of cars. My first job when I was working in Europe, right, this is kind of a long story, but my main point is I wrapped a car and the owner who hired me came in, Didn't even look at my wrap, and he looked at that. Do you see that little scrap on the floor? That's the only thing I had on the floor. And he came over here and he's like, if I see this, I'll never hire you again. And he walked away. Didn't even look at my wrap. And I was like, that's pretty crazy. But it was, for me, a lesson, which was what? The cleaner my workspace, the better I got. So in a way, I slowed down to organize my tools, and it actually sped me up because the cleaner my workspace stayed, I didn't lose tools because I didn't have to spend 10 minutes looking for my fucking squeegee underneath the car, right? But number two is, sorry for the F-bomb, I like to swear. So my point is I didn't have to look for tools, I didn't have to look for screws and bolts, and I didn't have to clean my workspace at the end of the day because it was already what? Clean. Sounds stupid, but it's a good lesson. So as we get back to this right now, Rainer and Tadashi are kind of flowing and going. Rainer's tucking the material into the molding right now. And this is interesting right now. Has anyone ever tucked material into the window molding? It's tricky. Some window molding comes up nice and easy. Some window molding doesn't come up nice and easy. When we were doing the demo on the box truck, out of the corner of my eye, I could see Rainer and Tadashi prepping this van. And I saw Rainer take off the mirror, and I saw Rainer take off the door handle, and I saw Rainer try to pull the molding around the window, and he's like, he's a little sad. Why? Because it doesn't come off very easy. Is that a problem? No. You just change your technique. So what Rainer's doing right now is he's cutting the material and he's tucking it in nice and deep and finishing it right now. So you can see that they got the material glassed out, they're flowing and going, coming down to here. And then what Rainer's doing right now, because Tadashi's finishing everything, is he's double checking for what? Bubbles, lifting. So Tadashi's doing QC, and then they're going to cut this final panel and finish right now. Let's come back to time. Did anyone, who got their bets in time? Hopefully you got your bets in time. Ooh, you guys need to start betting. Dude, this is your chance to win $2,000 worth of prize just for guessing how long it takes. So right now we're at 39 minutes. Pretty good. Tim's a shop owner. He's also the Wrapper Mapper. Do you guys know the Wrapper Mapper? Great company. You can find great resource for information about the wrap industry. And Tim owns 2 wrap shops in one now. One wrap shop in Ohio. Lots of employees right now. And if you're employees right now, we're at 40 minutes in on the Sprinter. How would you feel? What?
I wouldn't be buying them lunch.
You wouldn't be buying them lunch? That is terrible. So, but would you be happy?
Be happy, yeah.
Okay, because let's do brass tacks, right? So Rainer and Tadashi are wrapping this right now. They're 40 minutes in. I think they're going to finish within the next 10 minutes. I'm not saying we plan this, right? My point is, let's say they finish this side in 50 minutes. They take a break, drink some coffee, they do the passenger side. They'd finish the passenger side in how long? 50 minutes. And then one person